Oh, it's a license for anybody to engage in discrimination as long as they cite religion. And as you correctly point out, it doesn't mention gay rights. Now, obviously, that was part of the motivation. But there are people who have religious objections to Jewish people. We had a long tradition in America, sadly, where racial segregation was justified on religious grounds. People found objections to race mixing, that they called it. There are people who don't like Mormons. There are people who have objections to divorce. This ridiculous bill, which I'm just reading over, and I'm appalled at how stupid it is, what it says is that if you have a religious objection to any law in Arizona, you don't have to obey that law. I mean, that's essentially it. Okay. Any general law that you have the freedom to deny it. Now, we've generally distinguished between what goes on in the economic world, where you treat everybody equally, and your purely personal choices. This is just very strange, as you say.
Congressman, the Alliance Defending Freedom, who helped craft the bill, says it actually works both ways as a balance, and it would protect all orientations while prohibiting people from coercing somebody to violate their beliefs. And they use it as an example. It would protect a gay photographer from having to work for the Westboro Church, which we all know very well how out on the loony bin they are, or Muslims who don't want to sell pork sandwiches at a state fair. Don't they have a point?
No, because that's already your option. If you don't want to sell pork, you don't have to sell pork. No one is required to do that. What they're talking about are anti-discrimination laws. The law does say if you decide to sell pork, you've got to sell it to anybody who is well-behaved and has the money to pay for it. It doesn't require rabbis to sell bacon. It didn't used to require Catholics to eat meat on Friday. That's just nonsense. It does not govern your personal behavior. What it says, as I said, is if you engage in a particular activity, then you have to treat all comers. And yeah, if you are a gay florist and people from a church you don't like want to buy flowers, you should be forced to sell them to them. The point is that you do business because there is a web of state laws that protect you, and that in return for that, you are obligated to serve anybody. But this notion that it is protected, there's nothing in here about protecting anybody against discrimination. And as I said, it can be invoked by anybody who says, I don't like this kind of person, I don't like that kind of person, and I'm going to deny them the service. And by the way, you know, if you're in a major metropolitan area, okay, you can just go next door. I personally wouldn't want to give any money to a bigot. But what if you live in a small community where there aren't that many people who perform the service? This could be, for many people, not just an insult, but an injury.
Yeah. Okay, Congressman Frank. You know, what happens if, let's say, Governor Brewer does approve this bill? I mean, you know, could we see litigation? Could we see boycotts? What does this mean for the Arizona economy, given that they are hosting the Super Bowl next year as well?
Oh, you will certainly see boycotts. You will certainly see not just lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people, but friends, businesses who employ them. Saying, no, why would you sponsor a national convention that would meet in Arizona if the people you were inviting to the convention were told, oh, and by the way, you may not be able to be served in this place or get that kind of service. So, yeah, they've already been told that by various businesses. There will also be lawsuits.
Congressman Frank, so why on earth is Governor Brewer even considering this bill, if that's the case?
The sad fact is, and this will sound partisan, but it is factual, the Republican Party in the United States has been taken over by a very extreme group. This bill passed on a party line. Interestingly, a couple of the Republican senators who were for it have now reconsidered. And the Republican Party is often torn between a very ideologically angry Tea Party type of group, people who, and this is not true necessarily of the Tea Party, but people who were very anti-gay, who worry about minority ethnic groups, and the business community. The bill passed, as I said, as an example of, unfortunately, the kind of extremism that has taken over the Republican Party.